if it's not adding anything to the cocktail, I say don't bother, you know, like a great drink will stand up on its own. Thank you so much for coming back and watching another video with me. If this is the first video of mine you've watched, double thank you. Or no, thank you the same amount, but this is part of my home bar essentials series. Just this is an orange. I'm sort of anti-garnish. I don't really believe, often garnish is superfluous. You know, it's a silly little extra that's not changing what your drink is, and a lot of times it's wasteful too. And especially when it comes to food and beverage, like there's a lot of unnecessary waste associated with this industry. So that being said, personally in my life, I'm you know, trying to make better cocktails for Instagram, if we're being honest with one another. And please follow me. I'm Caribbean Andy on there. But you know, it is important, particularly presentation, digitally speaking. That's, you know, something I want to be better with. So, and also, you know, it can be a lot of fun. Like, and you can certainly choose garnishes that aren't wasteful, that aren't superfluous, that are adding things to the overall experience of the cocktail. So when I'm going to garnish a beverage, I'm looking for something that is going to be you can consume it, or is reflecting some sort of tradition, you know. For like a Manhattan, for example, should absolutely have a cocktail cherry at the bottom. And I also want something that is going to affect the cocktail in some way. So something that maybe is not something you're going to eat, but maybe you can smell it. You know what I mean? So let's talk about garnish. Obviously, I think the most basic and most common form of cocktail garnishes are citrus peels. This is that orange I was holding earlier. So yeah, old fashioned, Negroni, Cosmo, whatever. You can garnish it with an orange peel and you're gonna be set. So let's talk about how to make that real quick. I actually prefer doing my peels with a paring knife, but you can also use a fruit and vegetable peeler, just like this one. These are incredibly inexpensive. And these are nice too because you can cut it a little thinner. When you're doing these garnishes, you really want to just focus on just getting that outside and not any of the pith. The white part of the fruit is the most bitter part, and that is absolutely going to impact your cocktail. If you put a thick orange peel like this in someone's old fashioned, that old fashioned is going to get very bitter very fast. So you want to do thin peels. I'm going to do this right here, and also do wash your fruit. Oh, and do a better job of doing it the whole way. That right there, that can be a great peel. It's got nice oils on it. It can be expressed over top. But you can also go ahead and take your paring knife and trim up a peel such as this one. Even just doing the edges, or you could do a fun little design. The world is your oyster, really. So much fun can be had with a citrus peel. Isn't that great? Look, you can put it right on there. Oh, you can put a little slit in the middle and have like a little something or other. And you've got a nicely garnished drink. Cutting a lime for garnish. If you're just cutting a simple lime wedge like you would for a gin and tonic, a lot of people might want to cut off the ends. Usually limes, they're nothing too funky or upsetting, but you can go ahead and do that. Cut it down the middle. Oh, this lime's a little dried out. And then we'll cut this way. And cut 1, 2. And we've got a great little lime wedge, perfect for a gin and tonic or our demonstration glass. Then of course you could also do, I'm wasting fruit, talk about being wasteful. A wheel, I think, is a really fun addition to a cocktail. But that's gonna be something that's really not, it's really going against everything I just said. You know, doing like a lemon wheel on a drink, it looks nice, but it's a big old waste. So I would say, don't do that. You know, nobody wants that. No one's gonna eat that lemon. I used to love eating lemons when I was a kid, like going to a restaurant, eating them off of people's waters. I'm a weirdo. There's that. Another thing, this is also not gonna add to the cocktail, but if you have pineapple in your house, pineapple fronds are a really great thing because, I mean, you're not gonna do anything else with this. So that's fun. They're great for tiki drink garnishes. So that's another one you can have. So great. Oh my gosh, look at this beautiful cocktail we're making right here. Another option for cocktail garnishes is, of course, rather than using fresh citrus, you can preserve your citrus by dehydrating it. Perhaps you can do it in your oven. Maybe you have a food dehydrator. But honestly, if you're sitting around dehydrating fruit, you're obviously a rich person with too much time on your hands, and time is money. So money is time. You're very wealthy. But you can buy dehydrated fruit. That's all this is. To keep it in a jar, and this will rehydrate in your drink. You can put it inside. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of this stuff because this is a blood orange. It smells a little fruity. But what is this really doing? What is it contributing to your cocktail? And again, like something that you see a lot of is people, bars will have these little tiny clothespins and clip them onto your drink so that it's just nearby while you enjoy your cocktail. And that to me is so stupid. I don't get it. It's a weird trend that I actually hope goes away. Again, I'm trying to get people to follow me on Instagram, so I'm happy to participate, but just know that I'm doing it only for attention, which is, I guess, the reason I do everything. So nothing new there. That being said, moving on. Another thing that I do think is fun to add to a cocktail, I love using dried spices. Things like a cinnamon stick can go a really long way, or using like a star anise pod like this. Specifically in something like a gin drink, something with a lot of botanicals, or something with other spices, something including amaro, anything like that. Like, have guests over, throw a star anise pod in their cocktail, and they'll think you're so fancy, and you can smell it. Like this is adding to my experience. Oh my gosh, smells so good. It's like a little potpourri right there in my beverage. Who isn't having fun? I am. Of course, olives I think are a nice thing to have around the house. Olives, the brine right in this jar is great for making a dirty martini, but olives are also really great in other cocktails besides martinis. Throw an olive in an Aperol Spritz, bring out some of the salinity of your sparkling wine. Your day is getting better by the second. Then, of course, I would say after orange peels, the most famous of all cocktail garnishes is the cherry. Now, maraschino cherries, or maraschino, depending on who you are. The Luxardo people pronounce it maraschino, so I say maraschino typically myself. That's how they say it, so that's how I'll say it. These are made by the same people who make the liqueur. The liqueur is made primarily from the pits and the skins of the cherries. So they have a lot of juice left over. So they actually make these from the juices and sugar. So these Luxardo cherries, they advertise themselves as the original. These are very expensive. They're expensive though because they're the best, and they're made from Marasca cherries. So maraschino, Marasca, that's where that comes from. And they are, I think, worth it. If you're up for spending the money. I think this jar, I think I paid like $20 for it, maybe more, but they're delicious. There are other versions that use less expensive cherries. You can look on Amazon. You can get Amarena cherries. Actually, we use those at a bar just because these are like $1 a cherry, and it's a lot to put in a cocktail, but they are really great. So depending, I would say if you're having a large party, don't use these, but maybe 1 or 2 guests, you can bust out the fancy cherries. And I am using a cocktail skewer. I think it's nice to have a few. Oh, I'm not even gonna be able to get this out. Oh, that's 2. I think it's nice having a few of these metal skewers around the house, just for your home bar garnishing. Put that right in there. That's great. Just like dried spices are great, fresh herbs can also be a really great cocktail garnish. And just like with spices, oh, this is sage. It smells so good. You know, it is adding to the experience because it's adding to the aroma. You are consuming it. You're not eating it, but you're consuming it with your nose. And hey, look, we can use one of our dumb little wooden clips. Most bars, I think, throw these away too. Like you can't wash that. So that's just, I don't get those clips. And then of course, these are obviously incredibly wasteful, but I do think when you talk about home bar essentials, the classic parasol. I mean, who's not having a fun time with an umbrella in their drink? Me. I mean, this is great. I think this is fun. So these are like $1. I bought these at a vintage store, so they're basically antique, and I'm helping the environment by owning these. And it's paper, it's biodegradable, it's fantastic. So that I do think does add some sensory value. And there you go. There's how you garnish cocktails. Thank you so much for watching. If this seems like valuable information to you, consider subscribing to this channel. If you've had fun with me today, hit the like button. If you're not enjoying this, I'm sorry to have wasted your time. Cheers to you, and tune in every week for cocktail videos and more home bartending tips like this. Cheers.